evening, ghosts and ghouls. You're listening to a horrible podcast.
Good evening. It's the one, the only, JT Ripper, and I'm here with
Todd of Thunder.
And you're listening to a horrible conversation. Today we're going to be bringing you this latest news, topics, and all the hot conversations going on in the horror community.
Yep, this is going to be a special episode. We're going to be talking about some upcoming movies and the dates that they're going to be released to theaters. And also, at the end of the episode, we're going to be ranking our top 10 favorite African American lead or co-lead roles in horror films. Black people.
Don't say that like that.
No, it's going to be our favorite horror movies that feature black people in a lead or a pretty important role in the horror genres. It's not February anymore, but it's not far from removed from February, so we've done this little, kind of like a tribute type of thing. But, I'll jump right into some of the movies that are coming out that you want to check out. So, first of all, Children of the Corn came out March the 3rd, which was only a couple days ago. From what I've read and for what I've seen and researched, this did go to theaters like nationwide, but not very long. I can't find anything for it after today, actually.
Yeah, I looked, tried to find something that was playing nearby. And the only thing that I could see is a 9:30 showing for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why it's only in there a short time, but hopefully that means that it's going to hit a streaming service maybe soon. So
possibly, I don't know.
But, get ready. We've some of these we've already talked about. This is just a reminder, Scream 6, that's coming out March the 10th, so that's just in a few days.
Yeah, that's this upcoming week. We've kind of been slacking on the movie reviews. We're going to pick them up here soon.
We also have The Pope's Exorcist that comes out April 7th, and that's going to have Kurt Russell in it. I mean, not Kurt Russell. Why did I say that? Russell Crowe. If you guys haven't seen the trailer to that, that's out now.
It looks pretty good.
It looks pretty good. Kurt, again, not Kurt Russell. Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah. It's a pretty big production, so.
Putz.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, but unfortunately, I feel like if you've seen one Exorcist movie at this point, you kind of seen them all.
Well, yeah, that's kind of mine. If
I got the right vibes, with Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, but
it won't be as good as the right.
It's the same movies, It's like when you get these like Catholic Church type of movies where it involves a priest or any type of religious thing like that, where a demon or the devil or what have you is in it. It's always kind of the same, It's all in how it, some of them are boring as shit. Some of them could be exciting. This got Russell Crowe in it, so it has potential. It has a big actor in it, and it's a big production. So maybe we'll get something a little bit different. Who knows?
Yeah, might watch it and review it, even though I don't really want to go see that one. But it is what it is.
Yep, and we also have Renfield coming out April 14th.
Yeah, I was reading, I think on Instagram or something like that, or like Nicolas Cage wants to do like his own standalone vampire movie after this, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. There's trailers for all of these movies out. I'm actually really looking forward to this one. The next one is April 21st, and that's going to be Evil Dead Rise. We've talked about that and how we, pretty excited to see that. At least the trailer, even if the movie's not all that great, the trailer did its job for me anyway. It made me interested in it.
Yeah, I'm going on record and saying that's probably going to be horror movie of the year.
Yeah.
Possibly,
potentially. And then June the 2nd, we have the Boogeyman, the Stephen King adaptation coming to theaters. I don't think that there's a trailer for that yet. Some of these, I said there's a trailer to most of these. I lied. Some of them don't because they're too far away. But
no, it's out.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I just haven't seen it yet then. Then in July 7th, we have Insidious: Fear of the Dark. This will be another chapter in the Insidious universe, which
Is there a trailer out for that?
I haven't seen it yet. I've read a little bit about it, and I talked a little bit about it on some other episodes of, the little bit of news that we have on it. But the sooner we get to the release date, the more and more news we'll have to report. And August 11th, we have the Disney remake Haunted Mansion coming out. I saw the trailer to this. I don't know.
I haven't. Yeah.
It's from the looks of it, it's going to be a little bit more. It's a lot more spooky than the Eddie Murphy version that we got in the 2000s. However, I really liked the Eddie Murphy version of the movie. I thought
it was all right.
It was funny. It's a cute little family funny movie that Eddie Murphy did. And, just want to, state right now that I didn't shit on that movie. And I don't know about this movie coming up. I mean, it looks a little bit spookier, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be more enjoyable. So we'll see.
Yep.
And then September 8th, we have The Nun 2 coming out. Again, have to deal with that religious aspect of the horror. And I've talked before about this, about how I wasn't really impressed with the first one and it really didn't do anything for me. I've went back and rewatched it. It was a little bit better. However, I still say that out of all the Conjuring universe movies that's a part of that little universe, I still say The Nun could have been the one that was rated R and was a little bit more gory, a little bit more scary than the rest.
No, I totally agree with that. I don't know. I was about to say The Nun was my least favorite, but that would be a lie. La Llorona.
Yeah, that
was probably my least favorite.
I have to go back and rewatch that one too. I mean, I remember it, but I remember it not catching my eye either, kind of like the first Nun. So maybe I can go back, give it more attention, know what to expect, and kind of enjoy it a little bit more. Who knows? But
yeah,
we'll see on The Nun too. And, speaking of, Exorcist and everything else, the remake to The Exorcist comes out October 13th.
Well, I think it's more of a requel from what, speculation.
I guess so. I mean, I think the best thing that they could do is maybe continue the story, or I don't know. To me, there's some movies that from the very beginning that they announced that they're going to remake or whatever they're going to do with it is kind of doomed, because it's such big expectations living up to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We have modern technology, we have the CGI, we have everything, but that doesn't necessarily make movies better. And as a matter of fact, a lot of times the older films that come out in the 70s and the 80s are always better using practical effects and old school, just, you know, effects that you know is not like computer generated. You know what I mean? It makes it more scary. Like, you know, we talked about this before. Like, imagine if they remake Jaws. It will suck ass because the shark will be fucking CGI.
Yeah, it'd be like what is it called? The Meg.
Yeah, and
good movie, but I mean, it's
for the most part, those movies are they're going to be good as far as like storytelling and the characters, and depending on who plays the roles, they're going to be good. But like at the end, like the effect is just like,
yeah. That's what I'm afraid. Like with The Exorcist, is they're going to go non-practical and try to like make it like over the top, like, you know, like her head fucking spinning around and all sorts of shit like that, and it looked fake. If they stick to practical, it has potential.
Yeah, I mean, if they stick to practical and they stick, you know, I don't mind something being changed.
Yeah, but
there's a difference in it being changed and it's still good and being changed to being fucking boring. There's a lot of things that people take from old films and they redo it, and they just don't do it better. Like, the perfect example is probably that Hellboy movie. Remember that?
Yeah, like, I had to sit there and think because I tried to forget that movie.
Like, they remade everything that the Ron Perlman Hellboy movie did, but everything they did in the movie was fucking boring. Yeah, like, it was nothing to it. It was just... But anyway, to round this off, October 27th, that's Saw 10. So that's all the way up to October, all the big horror movie releases that's coming out this year. And, you know, I'll probably try to see all of it at one time.
Yeah, that's a lot to see.
Well, not at one time.
But yeah, we got some heavy hitters. I feel like this year is more about popular titles more so than anything. Like, already like well-established things. Like last year was like new stuff, and this year seems to be more like your sequels.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing on here that I remotely see that's... I mean, there's nothing that's on this list right here that hasn't either already been done or a version of it. Like, the most original film I just mentioned is probably Renfield.
Yeah, Renfield.
And, you know, we've seen the story of Dracula and everything else. We might have not seen the story, you know, full frontal to the Renfield character, so that's pretty cool. And the only one, I mean, maybe this Stephen King's Boogeyman is going to be a little bit different than what we're known as the Boogeyman to be.
I think it is. It looks more of a creature aspect of it, judging by the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another movie coming out. Fuck it. Manic? Is that what it's called? I don't know. I saw the poster for it, and it looked really creepy.
Sweet. We'll look it up and bring it on another episode, and we're going to jump into our African American films. Well, not films, but like lead roles, actors. Important characters. Now, our criteria for this list is not just if a black person played in the movie. Okay, let's get that out of the... We will do some honorable mentions of some horror films that did feature some African American characters, not as the lead, but very important in the film. But as far as our top 10 list goes, these are characters in the horror films that were either the lead actor or actress or co-lead. So that's our criteria, and we're going to go through our little list, talk about it a little bit, and then we'll give some honorable mentions and some people we want to shout out. So, you want me to start the list off, or do you?
Well, this list is really hard because there's a lot of good movies. There's a lot of good actors and actresses.
Yeah. And let me state right off the bat, most of these actors and actresses I'm going to be naming by name. Some of them I can't pronounce, and I'm not going to try to butcher their name, but you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But, fortunately, it's only like maybe one movie on my list where I just cannot pronounce the dude's last name or anything. So
yeah, we don't want to butcher it, but we'll mention the movie. All right, so kicking off the top 10, Mr. Todd of Thunder Down Under.
And my number 10, I got from 2017, Get Out. And the lead guy in that movie, Daniel something another, told you I wasn't going to butcher his name. But, yeah, I had to put at least one Jordan Peele movie on here. And Get Out was a little bit more, it was kind of like his first attempt, and, it was a pretty good attempt. Everybody was talking about it that year. Everybody was talking about how good of a movie it was, and I saw it, and, it was a good movie. So I started my list off with Get Out.
Get Out is a very good one. Mine actually is Us, starting off at number 10. I think her last name is Najiro. I don't know. I know I'm butchering her name, but her performance in Us is fucking fantastic. I mean, what a beautiful, talented actress she is.
Yeah,
she did an amazing job in this movie. It was such a great original story and concept, and I think Peele at his best.
Yeah, I think everybody in that movie did pretty well, but her performance definitely stood out among everybody else's.
So creepy with the way that she took the approach.
Yeah, her facial expressions was what done it for me. I mean, you talk about acting, that's what you're talking about,
Yeah.
Kicking off my number 9 is Vampire in Brooklyn.
Ooh, it's a little bit higher on my list, but what a great movie by Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, from 1995, Eddie Murphy as Maximilian and Angela Bassett as Rita. Alan Payne as Justice. Just a great cast. I mean, there's others obviously in the film, but Eddie Murphy and Angela Bassett are pretty much the two main stars of this film, and it's one of those movies that it is a horror film, or considered one. It's more of a comedy horror film, but it's just a great fucking movie. If you've never seen it, go watch it. You'll get some laughs, and it might become like one of your instant favorites.
It has a very the vampire look to it. Has that very Lost Boys feel to it. As far as the makeup and special effects go, it's a little bit higher on my list, but my number 9 is Get Out. You just touched up on it, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but I don't want to butcher his name. But he is an amazing actor, and he done a spectacular job in Get Out. And if you haven't watched it, I mean, these two Peele movies are going to be what he's pretty much known for the rest of his career.
Yeah, and much like Get Out, and much like Us, some of the best camera work was basically just zooming on people's faces and showing the fear that's coming from their faces.
And the fear in this guy's face was amazingly captured.
Oh yeah, it was pretty damn good. My number 8 is from 91, and it's The People Under the Stairs. We have Brandon Adams as Fool. He plays the character Fool. And Vig Rhames plays a little bit in it. He's not a main character, but he plays, out of all the damn characters, his name is Leroy.
Leroy. It's a little bit higher on my list, too.
Yeah. He, excuse me, he plays Leroy. He doesn't make it much further in the movie, maybe midway, but Fool is a great character. People Under the Stairs is a great movie. You want to talk about, breaking into somebody's house, but not knowing that the people that live there are batshit fucking crazy.
Yeah, what a great concept. The ones breaking in are actually going to be the victims.
Yeah, and if you think about it, that's kind of what the movie Don't Breathe was based on.
Pretty much, yeah.
It
honestly.
It started off as kind of like, the perpetrators or the bad guys break into the house, and, the person that lives there is supposed to be like the sympathetic person, but then they end up being the like psychopath. So it's pretty good.
That one's a little bit higher on my list, but number 8 is I Hate Wesley Snipes. It's Wesley Snipes and Blade.
Blade, yes.
It's not really a horror movie, but it's a action movie with horror elements to it.
Yeah, I'll put it in the Vampire in Brooklyn. Like, some people might argue that's just a straight up comedy, but some people might argue Blade is a straight up just Marvel comic book movie, but it's
action movie.
I mean, it's fucking vampires, and you actually see blood and gore and all kinds of stuff in it.
It's Wesley Snipes at his best.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes, he needed a big role, and he needed to stay relevant, and he found
his taxes.
Yeah, pay his taxes, everything else. And the Blade movies came along, and he gave us some really good ones.
Yeah. If you haven't watched it, you're probably living under a rock.
My number 7 is from 1988, and it's They Live with Keith David playing opposite of Rowdy Roddy Piper, and Keith David plays the role of Frank, who is basically the co-star of the film, and, Piper tries to convince him the whole movie that some strange shit's going on, and he doesn't want to hear it, and then he finally puts the sunglasses on, and holy shit.
Holy shit.
Not to mention, it's probably the best fight scene in a horror movie ever between him and Piper.
Yeah, it's so fucking good and so believable. And I credit Roddy Piper for that. And him for
it was so good that even South Park recreated it for an episode.
Yeah. But yeah, my number 7 is actually People Under the Stairs. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. It's a very great movie. It's starting to get the legacy icon, legendary movie status that it should.
Yeah.
One of those cult classics now. If you haven't seen it, it's a goodie. Shout out to Brandon Bartz. It's one of his favorite movies.
Absolutely. Coming in at number 6 is actually number 7.
7.
Yes.
By the way, I'm number 7.
7 comes in at number 6 with the great Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
He plays the opposite cop of Brad Pitt's character. Also, Kevin Spacey plays the bad guy in it. And you want to talk about a great horror, suspense, detective, police movie, all the above kind of rolled into one.
Yes.
And in my opinion, people, I point to Morgan Freeman's performance as being better, or maybe not better, but his performance as the calm, cool veteran detective, and Brad Pitt's performance as the gun-ho kind of, at times, kind of a dumbass, cop, I think really complements themselves. And then you throw in Kevin Spacey when he is revealed as the killer. and his like, he almost has like that Hannibal Lecter intelligence level to him. So
yeah,
that's
actually my number
great.
6 too. Number 7 is my number 6. Well, Morgan Freeman and his cookies. Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. If you haven't watched it, it's definitely up there with probably top 5 all-time suspense thrillers.
Oh yeah, definitely. Kicking off my number 5 is the original Night of the Living Dead, 1968, with Dwayne Jones as Ben in the film.
Damn, me too.
Yeah, I couldn't not put this on the list. Night of the Living Dead, the original Night of the Living Dead, is one of the great all-time classics. Definitely one of the all-time best, not only from the 60s, but not only black and white films, but, horror films, period. So if you've never seen the original Night of the Living Dead, do yourself a favor. There's a dozen fucking copies of it on DVD. You can
probably go to your local dollar store and buy it right now because it's everywhere. And I believe this was one of the first like lead roles for a black man.
Yeah, George A. Romero, cast it perfectly. And it was very taboo
at the time.
At the time when he did it. I mean, even though it was 1968 and it was towards the end of, the civil rights movement and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was still a stigma among everybody, especially in Hollywood, to cast, if you saw a black lead role during that time, it was usually made by a black person, catered to black people, and starred nothing but black people.
Yeah, you're drawing a blank. You're black exploitation films.
Yeah, like exploitation films and stuff like that. And this was one of the first ones.
Dynamite, Blackula, stuff like that.
Stuff like that. So that was number 5. That was your 5 as well?
Yeah,
Sweet.
Actually.
Well, I guess we can roll on to number 4. My number 4 is from 1992, and it's Candyman. And it's Tony Todd as Candyman.
Tony Todd as Candyman.
First of all, let me say this. As much as I put over Jordan Peele earlier, he did not direct the remake to Candyman. He did write it, though. I thought the remake was dog shit.
Yep.
I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the story. I thought nothing made sense in it. And quite frankly, I didn't like the cast of characters. Now, everything that I just said, the opposite about 1992's Candyman. Everything about the movie was fucking pure gold. Candyman's, Tony Todd's performance as Candyman was creepy. It was believable. It made sense in a fantasy horror world way. And it's one of the best movies from the 90s as far as horror films go.
It's actually my number 4 also. You know how I feel personally about Candyman. I feel like he is one of the most underrated slashers that needs nothing but the utmost praise. And I was so disappointed with the 2019 or 2020
around that time
Candyman requel. It didn't deliver. The best part was the end with Tony Todd.
Yeah.
But the original, even the original trilogy is still good to me. Like, I can find enjoyment in it and everything, but it's something that it should be up there with your Jasons, Freddys, Michaels. Candyman should be right there because it's such a great story, such a great character, and I just absolutely love, Tony Todd. He is one of my favorite actors.
Yeah. And, it's something about Clive Barker's characters that are memorable and iconic, but their movies are don't seem to be. They don't seem to have justice to them because,
right,
like after the fourth Hellraiser movies, it kind of goes downhill. The second and third Candyman, it was still enjoyable. It wasn't like on par with the first one. So
yeah,
that's why I say like he creates iconic characters, but it seems like nobody else knows what to do with them.
Yeah, after the first one, unfortunately.
Kicking off number 3. We're in the top 3, baby.
Top 3, baby.
My number 3 comes from 1990, and it's Predator 2 with Danny Glover.
That's your number 3?
That's my number 3.
That's your number 3. Okay.
Anybody who knows me knows that I like Predator 2 better than the first one. Fucking sue me. You know, I love Arnold and Jesse Ventura and all those Carl Weathers. I could easily said Predator and, go with Carl Weathers. But there's something about Predator 2 that when I watch it seems nostalgic, awesome, and makes me fucking happy when I watch it.
So here's my number 3, because I couldn't pick between Predator 2 and Saw 2 with Danny Glover. So I will talk about Saw 2 because I was very mixed. But to piggyback off what you said, Predator 2 is fucking amazing, and I go back and forth all the time. And so there's some times where I enjoy part 2 versus 1. Sorry, Arnold. I think Danny Glover is just a better character. He did a better job. He made me believe, his character, his struggle. It felt more of a struggle. Because he wasn't some souped up action hero. But Saw 2, I think, is better than Saw 1. Saw 2 is my favorite Saw movie. And Danny Glover is the best part of it. It's just something about Danny Glover and being a detective agent. Him being some kind of form of a cop. If he's that character in a movie, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna love it. Yeah, you've got that Predator 2, Lethal Weapon,
Color Purple.
I
mean, he wasn't a detective in there. It was just a great role, though.
Yeah. Just fucking fantastic. And, people will probably be like, he plays the same character. Well, God damn it, he's a 10 out of 10 with that character every time he plays it.
Yeah, I mean...
Hence why I like Saw 2 better than 1.
It's... Most of these action guys, they always kind of play the same type of deal where they're ex-CIA, they're ex-military, they're ex-this, they're ex-that, and, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's going to be a kick-ass movie most of the time, so whatever.
Yeah, so Danny Glover's the fucking man.
Well, coming in at my number 2 is from 1978, and it is Dawn of the Dead, and it's Ken Foray.
Yep. I got a feeling I know what your number 1 is, too.
Well, this movie, it's my favorite in the George A. Romero zombie movie category. And Ken Foray, first of all, he's a legend in horror films, and when we get to our honorable mentions, I'll certainly mention some other films that he's in. But Dawn of the Dead is one of those. It's an iconic film to me. Like the characters, the setting, the music, everything about it just clicks. There might be some people complaining about, well, the blood is too red and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Well, so fucking what?
Well, in that same breath, if you praise Suspiria, eat shit. Yeah.
I mean, it's a movie. We know it's not legit. You know what I mean? We know that they didn't hire cannibals to fucking go in there and eat people in the film.
I mean, it's probably my favorite zombie movie. And most part it is due to Ken Foray's performance in the movie. It's just, I don't know. It's just,
yeah, he plays Peter, by the way, which is he's one of the riot police officers that escape on the airplane. So.
Right. I mean, it's just one of those iconic movies, and it's due to his performance that makes the movie so iconic. I mean, anything he's in, he just has that fucking Midas touch.
Yeah.
But number one, I have a feeling that our number one is the same, and is probably called The Thing.
Well, yeah. Yeah, Keith David, for the second time, lands on the list.
Because he is the motherfucking man.
Yeah, he plays Childs in this film. Came out in 1982, and this film was Kurt Russell.
Yes.
This was not Russell Crowe. This was Kurt Russell.
This is actually Kurt Russell.
Maybe that's why I kept blotching the name.
This is Dirty Dancing Man at his best, baby.
Yeah. And this is also the second John Carpenter film with the same actor in each film.
Sure.
So it's Keith David. Like you said, you don't want to beat a dead horse. We've talked about The Thing, and we talked about how great the practical effects was in the film.
Just got to meet Keith David.
Yeah, you got to meet Keith David and hang out with him for a little bit. So
yeah.
I mean,
just a sweetheart of a man, a phenomenal actor. He's just as great as a voice actor as he is like a theatrical on-screen actor. You know, he was the villain in Princess and the Frog. He's the president in Rick and Morty. He played Goliath. I think he was the Arbiter in Halo. I mean, good God. Just, and not to mention all the movies he's in. It's just, talking about a guy that also has the Midas touch, it's him. Like, anything he's in is just iconic.
Yeah, indeed. And that is our top 10 list. And now we want to mention some other actors and actresses that have made contributions to the horror genre that we just want to give a shout out to. And I'll start with mine. First of all, I'm going to go all the way back to 1985, and I'm going to talk about Friday the 13th, Part 5.
Juana Man.
Where we have Miguel Nunez as Demon in it, but the main star of the film that stole the screen time from everybody, and rightfully so, was the little boy. Reggie the Reckless was his character in it. Shavar Rose, maybe? I don't know. I ain't gonna butcher his name, but he's Reggie the motherfucking Reckless.
Reggie the motherfucking Reckless.
And again, I want to mention Miguel Nunez again in Return of the Living Dead, which came out also in 1985.
Yeah.
So, shout out to him. And also, I would give a big shout out to Ken Sagos from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors.
I'm going to kick this motherfucker all over Dreamland.
1987, and I was lucky enough to, he was like one of the first horror celebrities that I really met. I think it was like Gunnar Hansen, and then it was like years and years later, he was like the first one that I got and I met. So that's pretty cool.
He was really nice too, like just a very down to earth.
Oh yeah, Kincaid is probably my favorite Dream Warrior character anyway. And speaking of Nightmare on Elm Street movies, got to give a shout out to the chick that played in Nightmare on Elm Street 5. She played Yvonne. Her name is Kelly Jo Minster. She survived the movie.
Yeah.
She was the one that, didn't quite believe what everybody else was going through until she experienced it. So she had a great, role in that movie. And, I want to give a shout out to the movie Demons, right? The movie Demons from 1985.
Yeah.
You had the guy who plays in a lot of the Italian horror films. He played the fucking pimp.
Yeah.
the bald-headed guy in the white suit. And also the chick who played the character of Rosemary. She was the first one that got turned into the demon in the bathroom.
Yeah, she's done a spectacular job in that movie.
And of course, we can't not talk about Blackula, man.
Oh my god, what a great movie though, man. Seriously.
William Marshall as Blackula and also the sequels came out in 1972. And yes, it is a funny title, but go watch these films because they are like straightforward, straight-laced about a vampire. It's not a comedy movie at all.
No, it's a fucking fantastic movie.
And also, you got to mention Ice Cube and Anaconda and Ghost of Mars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And finally, my last mention, you got to talk about LL Cool J.
Oh, God, Halloween H2O.
Halloween H2O and
Blue.
Deep Blue Sea, man.
With fucking Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, Samuel Jackson again in Deep Blue Sea. So.
Got eaten by a motherfucking shark. You hit a lot of honorable mentions. I want to give one to Ty Diggs in the remake to House on Haunted Hill.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's up there in my favorite remakes, and he did a fucking phenomenal job.
Did a vagina of a job.
Yeah, vagina job.
You did a vagina job, and we like vagina.
Tony Todd in the remake to Night of the Living Dead, which was fucking amazing.
Yes, from 1990, directed by Tom Savini.
Yeah, Switchback, Danny Glover. You got Land of the Dead remake with
Vig Rhames.
Yeah, plays Big Daddy.
Great.
It's kind of like a weird role because he's a zombie, though.
No, Vig Rhames plays the actual cop in the movie.
No, I'm talking about Big Daddy, the zombie character.
Oh, the Big Daddy. Oh, the gas station attendant.
Yeah.
He's always at conventions and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Big Daddy from Land of the Dead. He did a phenomenal job. Trying to think if there's anybody else. No, I think that's pretty much it. You pretty much named all the honorable mentions that I had. I was looking at my list, people.
Yeah, some great actors and actresses that have contributed to our favorite genre, the horror genre. So
horror.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good episode.
Yeah. We want to thank you for tuning in, as always. I'm JT Ripper.
And I'm Todd of Thunder saying
toodaloo.